goes left. Pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11, 1:09. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Top Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunsinger at Thunder Chats, where you're part of the Believe Network. And this podcast brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Fellas, I am joined, as you can see, I'm joined by two lovely gentlemen here. First of all, we got Alex Alejandro, the optimistic pessimist. That is a perfect description of you. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was that was quite the game right there, man. Like, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, but at the end, in the end, the best of times prevailed. So
absolutely. That's all that matters. You know, we walked away victorious. We got a crazy point differential, you know, to help out in group play. So yeah, it's been good times. But also joining us, the newest member of our podcast. He's been on a few times. He is killing it on Twitter. He's killing it on Playback. Shout out to our guy Thunder Focus. What up, Focus?
What's up? I mean, that was a great game. I love the games where you can, get some emotion in early. I got some tweets early on, a little mad at certain things early on, but it's nice. They completely dominated the second half. A lot to talk about over the last two games. Continued dominance of this team, man.
That's an understatement right there.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? So, I'll just go ahead and say it. Like, for the Thunder game tonight, we played the Jazz. We won 144-112. And there's a lot that we talk about in the game, but I want to focus on that 144 right now. That is really close to the season high in points this year. Do you guys know who has the season high for points this season and what it was?
In the NBA?
It might have been the Jazz.
It was the Jazz. They have the highest and the second highest points this year, 152 and 150.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research for the preview, and I was like, holy shit. Like, when they're at home, like, it's crazy. Like, and I researched their home games. Like, they're number one in points. They're number one in rebounds. They're number one in assists. They're number 3 in three-pointers made. It's night and day. Like, even Lauri Markkanen, he scores 9 more points at home per game, and his 3-point percentage is 18 percentage points higher at home than it is on the road. Like, it's stupid. Yeah.
The home splits are absolutely nuts for the Jazz, but that makes what happened tonight all the more impressive. Like, we're gonna get into our single large item here in a second, but I just team wide, the Thunder went down early to the Jazz, talking about, what Alex is mentioning, the Jazz playing better, Lauri Markkanen playing better at home. Keontae George, he was out there. Nobody could stop him. Kaysen could not hold Keontae George at the beginning of the game. He was getting to the rim at will. They were getting to the line. They were making shots. We were down 18 with 2:50 left in the first quarter. And by 2:45 left in the fourth quarter, the Thunder led by as many as 36 points. That's what is that? Is that a 48-point swing?
Something like that.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a little late, but the math is math a little bit. Yeah.
No, that's more.
Swing.
No,
wait.
You said 18 and then
36?
they were up by 36. So that's 54.
54, yeah, 54.
Yeah, see, math ain't math, and it's very late. So even more impressive. But yeah, obviously a lot happened to get us to that point, and we're going to talk about that on our single large item. So single large item, Focus, I'm going to kick it to you, man. Get us started. What is your single large item, your biggest takeaway from the game tonight or, Wednesday night against the Kings?
I don't think a lot of people are talking about it because Kaysen plays his role so quietly, but he's really starting to turn it around, offensively this season. He had a really nice scoop layup drive today. His touch has been starting to come along. I don't have the exact percentage in front of me, but I think he's touching around 40% from free this season again. But him coming along offensively, and always the defense is so good. I think he's still leading the league in steals. He was all over the ball today. The Jazz were trying to hunt him on switches with Lauri Markkanen to get Ludor off him, and Kaysen really held his own extremely well. So, I mean, Casey Wallace, he should be an all defensive first team lock right now. The only player in the league, in my opinion, that's competing for the best guard in the world, best guard defender in the world title, are on the Thunder in Lou Dort and Alex Caruso. So he's a special player. He's gonna get paid a lot come June and July. So I'm just excited to see him continue to progress. And obviously, however good offensively he can be, that's just gonna raise how important he's gonna be long term for this team and potentially, a starter in a few years, maybe later this season. We'll see what happens when Mark has to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You talk about the steals, 4 steals tonight. He had a steal and a block against the Kings. And, obviously, like defensively, like Kaysen, like you said, like he's been an all defensive guy, like not just creating havoc, like creating turnovers, but also positionally especially like when Dort was out, what he was doing against like Ja, Steph, and Luka, like on consecutive games. He's been super impressive. But the thing also is like, his offense took a little bit to get going as the season went on, and some people were freaking out about it. Hey, his offense has been coming around. Tonight he shot 4 of 6, 2 of 4 from deep. I think one of those threes actually tied the game after we had been battling back in the third quarter there.
Yeah.
Or no, it was second quarter because we tied it at 67. And of course my kids walked in and had to make a 6-7 joke. So, but yeah, man, shout out Case. They're at the end. Shout out Cone. We're sponsored by FanDuel, but Cone put in a bet on FanDuel. He did the cheat code we talked about. The Thunder go down double digits. Go ahead and bet them double digits. Cone bet them to win by 20 when we was down 19. So that was a lot of faith by Cone.
Wow.
But there at the end in the fourth quarter, I think we was up 23 and they tied it at 20. And I sent a sweat emoji in the chat. And I think immediately after that, Kaysen hit a 3, got a steal, got a dunk. I'm like, okay, no, Kaysen's got you.
Yeah. I felt bad for Walter Clayton, who Kaysen went in there. That's when you were talking about. That's the steal and that dunk that you were talking about.
Yeah.
But Kaysen literally went in there in the fourth quarter. Clayton tried to cross him up. He reached into the cookie jar, stole his cookies, and then got the dunk. Like it was just like, this is what Queso does. Like this is his thing, and has the best hands in the league by far.
Absolutely. So apparently Nova's awake at the right hour of 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm probably gonna have to peace out here in a second, but I'm gonna go ahead and get my crap off before I get off here. My single large item is, obviously like the headline for this comeback was the 33-4 run in the third quarter. Like a lot of guys contributed in a lot of different ways. But what I want to highlight, and not even just in that run, but also earlier in the game, Isaiah Joe came to play tonight, man. Like whenever we were down early on, he hit 3 big threes, did it off of multiple ways. Him and Isaiah Hartenstein's 2-way game, quick trigger shot off of a Shea driving kick. And I think he even had a movement 3 there early on. But what stood out to me the most, and like, I keep just hammering this nail as much as I can. Like Isaiah Joe is so much more than a shooter. Obviously, we talk about his playmaking, his rebounding, his defense. But what he did in that run, I don't know if you guys counted. Like I was keeping track because I was like dumbfounded. He drew 4 fouls in a span of 2.5 minutes during that 33-4 run.
Yeah.
I think he drew a charge. I think he got offensive foul, running through a screen. I think somebody else, he drew a blocking foul, on the offensive end. There was another one there. But yeah, he literally drew 4 fouls in 2.5 minutes. Yeah. I was just like those are game swinging plays. I'm like, we talk about the 33-4 run. The Thunder were still down 1. Going into the half, I believe 1 or 2. I can't remember exactly, but
1.
That run and
the technical.
Yes, of course, Larry Markkinen. Yeah, hey, shout out Deggs though. We needed that tech.
We did.
That tech made all of those fouls possible for Isaiah Joe. But yeah, shout out Joe, man. He was everything that we needed and more on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean Isaiah Joe, like. People obviously we all talk about his shooting, obviously my bad, but the amount of micro skills that he has for a pure shooting player, he's really good at pressuring the ball in defense, which helps continue the identity of this team, right? Everyone on this team can pressure the ball. To have your bench shooter be able to also do that is huge. He's athletic, as you said. He's also just very physical, right? He's always willing to take those charges. I mean, think about it. How many shooters in the league are just willing to take charges, make those physical plays on defense? Like he's so good at those little micro skills. He's able to put the ball down on the floor. He's fine with making kick out passes, a little drive and kick. Like he's truly one of the more versatile shooting options you can have in the league. And to have him for so cheap, what's the contract, like 4 years, 48 million or something like that, which is only 6% of the cap, is an absolute steal. Like we all talk about Wiggins, but Joe's right up there in terms of the value in his contract long term.
Yeah, like he comes in, man, and it's the thing. We haven't had Wiggins for like 6 or 7 games now, and so and he hasn't been missed. You know, it's just like it's a luxury. It's such a luxury that you have to have these players just come in and completely keep the runs going or cut into the deficit. Like this is what great teams do with their bench players and with their bench units, is that they're either building leads or they're cutting into deficits. And that's what they did tonight. That second unit came in the second quarter, and immediately it was 4-0 run, and then it was another 4-0 run, to where Utah had to take 2 timeouts there in quick succession at the beginning of the second quarter. And it kind of led the avalanche that became that big old snowball that you saw in the third and the fourth quarter. But, having Isaiah Joe out there to help space the floor, to help, get the offense going whenever it's stuck in mud, like it was for a little bit there in the first quarter, really helps things out, man. It's a luxury that most teams do not have.
Yeah, you talk about the bench scoring. Like, it wasn't just Isaiah Joe. I just counted it up while you were talking, because we set a season high for, I think, points, 3-pointers made, 3-point percentage, on this game. But also, I don't know all the bench scoring for every game this year, but I'm pretty confident 81 points is the season high for bench scoring for us this season. Yeah. And 81 points is nuts to have come off the bench. Even in a 140-point game, or even in a 144-point game, like that is still like just a ridiculous amount of points. But Alex, you have the ability to drive in the stream, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna peace out. So I'm sorry I got to do this to you guys, but yeah, you know how it goes. But y'all have a good night, listeners. Appreciate you guys, and thunder up.
Thunder up.
Thunder up.
Yeah, man. So my point that I want to make, I want to bring up, is the fact of this team's mental fortitude. Like, number one, I don't have that fortitude, because whenever Utah was going batshit crazy offensively there in the first quarter and hitting damn near every 3-pointer that they were hoisting up, Kevin Love was having a renaissance. I was like, what is going on? Whenever that was happening, I'm like, this is the type of shot variance game that is going to beat the Thunder. Like this, you need a night like this. Either the Thunder aren't making shots, or you're just making a ridiculous amount of shots. And the mental fortitude, like, and there's some people on this podcast that are just like, oh, we're down by 20, whatever. And I'm like, y'all are freaking crazy. But, to the point where, like, they're right here betting money that we're down by double digits and then we're going to win by double digits, and they end up cashing out, so it's just like the mental fortitude of this team to be down, stick to their principles, stick to what they do best, which is play defense, turn defense to offense. It was just in full display this game. And it was just like, we'll give you a quarter. We'll give you maybe a quarter and a half. But then after that, like, the faucet ran dry, like the defense notched, ratcheted up, and it was an avalanche after that. And that's the only word, that's the word that I can kind of come up with for this game. It's just an avalanche. Like, it started off like, or a monsoon. Like, it was just like a small, drip here, drip here, drip here. And all of a sudden those drips turn into like these huge, hailstones or whatever, and it's completely over, man. Like it was very impressive. And I know Utah's a young team, and they're an impressive team for being a young team. Like I see the identity forming on that team, and it's going to be a little bit scary if they keep drafting correctly. They maybe have like one more draft left if they get this one right. Yeah. And we may end up with their draft pick. But yeah, like
exactly. Yeah.
if they end up with a good draft pick here, it could actually be, what they need to kind of catapult themselves to where we were at a couple seasons ago, because they're getting there. They're starting to get their identity. But yeah, they were impressive early, but man, you run out of words. You run out of words when it comes to like describing this team. And it's just like you watch them and it's like there's no way. And they do it. They do it. They win by 34 points when they were down by 18. Like it's ridiculous. It's great. It's amazing. And my cardiac health suffers every day because of it.
No, it's crazy because any other sports team like that you ever root for, you're saying this is a scheduled oh my god, this is a scheduled loss after the first quarter, but for the Thunder, it just never ends. And you're talking about Utah, obviously, and them forming their identity. You could see, I think they ran like a triple big lineup at one point with Kevin Love, Flip, and like Laurie Markkinen. And you could kind of see like their vision, right? Just have like a bunch of giant shooters. They come off screens, and you basically just like off ball the hell out of the other team's opposing bigs, right?
Yeah.
Like I think Chet and Hartenstein, they got beat by either Love or Flip on those pick and pops a few times. So I like what Utah's trying to do, but this team alone, I mean, again, you said they were down 16 to 18 points. And what I was most impressed at is like how little they overreact, especially Mark, right? They really stay consistent with their principles. I love the fact that Shea really didn't try to like take over the game. He still really played for the flow. Utah was basically just heavy gapping off of the one pass away option. So if Shea had the ball, they were just forcing the ball to either Lou Dort or Isaiah Joe. When Joe was there, he was obviously hitting in the first half. Then Dort went on that crazy run in the third quarter. I think he hit like 3 straight 3-pointers, and it was just all basic passes from Shea because they were just basically daring Shea to make that pass, right? Instead of isolating on, I don't know, Cody Williams, Svi Mikhailuk, like whoever they had going Shea. They were just daring Shea to make the pass, and Dort made them pay today. And I know we haven't talked about Dort yet, but to see him finally get the shooting back, I'm pretty sure he shot well against Sacramento. I might be wrong, but I feel like he's starting to shoot a lot. 4 of 8, yeah. I feel like his shooting is starting to come back along, and obviously that's an important part of this starting lineup and team going forward.
And I think he started 0 of 4 for that game and then hit 4 of 4, which is crazy.
He's a crazy second half player. Every single time. Playoffs, regular season. He went, 4-4? I don't know what he went today, but I feel like he made all the shots in the first quarter today.
He didn't shoot at all in the first half. That's the crazy thing. Yeah. Like he did not shoot at all. And then all of a sudden, like third quarter, whenever the game is on the balance and we're starting to wrestle momentum away, like he hit that first one. Then he hit the second one. And then eventually he hit a third one, I think. And it's just like like his big shot, his ability to hit big shots in big moments is something that I think a lot of people take for granted. Like, he misses it. He goes on cold streaks from time to time. He goes on slumps from time to time. But man, whenever you need him to hit, like he'll hit 2 or 3 in a row. Just look at Game 5 in Denver, Game 5 Denver last season. Like he literally, he helped us to win that championship just because of that game, just because of his ability to just get hot on the spot and just hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. And that's a luxury to have. Again, that's another luxury to have, is that players like that can do that. Like, they can run cold sometimes, but when they run hot, who we?
Yeah, because end of the day, every single team needs that, right? Because all respect to someone like maybe Chet or Kaysen or Chet and Kaysen, someone like that, right? They don't stay really confident throughout the game at times. You can see Chet hesitate after the first 2 or 3 misses. You can see Kaysen try to force the drive. Maybe AJ starts to stop shooting. AJ stops shooting the free, tries to get that floater off every time. Dort gives you volume every time.
I'm sorry. Jay Will had a career high today, and even in Jay Will, you saw some some plays where you're just like, why the hell didn't you shoot that? But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I know that was a great point. I forgot about Jay Will, dude. There was a play in the second quarter. Everyone knows what we're talking about. When he pump faked it, I think twice, and I literally lost my mind. And the thing was that was one of the weirdest J Will games ever because it felt like he wasn't playing the greatest defensively. He was hesitating a lot, but every time he shot it, it was cash. So that's fair, bro. That's a great game from J Will in that regard. But yeah, just having someone who can keep on applying pressure. He gets up 6, 7 threes a game. That's always great to have, and especially in the second half, he'll eventually get it going. So always have to love Lou for that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And like it's almost like sometimes like you watch this team and I've started to feel this way, and I've kind of felt guilty about feeling this way, but for the most part in this season, it's been a boring watch to watch the Thunder. and like let me explain. Like you started off the season with the Houston game, with the Indy game, double overtime. You sweat those out, and you're like, oh my god, this is so exciting. But then like you went through that run, the last couple games were like you had, you looked forward to like the Warriors Lakers back to back, and you're like, oh, okay, these are going to be good games. These are going to be competitive games, and it's just like blowout. Kings. The Kings come to town, or you go to Sacramento, and it's just like, it's Sacramento. Like I know, like we're probably not even going to play like 100%. We're going to play like 80%. Go down by a little bit in the first half, come back and beat them by like 20, which is what they do. And it's just like you take these games like this, and like for some reason this game felt a little bit different. I don't know if it's a cup thing. I don't know if but it's just like we were down, and I was like, oh, this is the one where they got us. This is the one where they're gonna get us. And then somehow, some way, they came back and they did their thing and they won by 30. And it's just like it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
And that's I agree with you to an extent. Like they've also played a pretty weak schedule so far. Like to a point where they played like a lot. I think like their last 5 games have been just against bottom feeders. But they play a pretty nice stretch coming up. I think obviously Portland, revenge game. They're obviously like a competitive team. Then you play Minnesota, and I think you play Phoenix after that. I might be wrong, but
those have been good. Those have been surprising good teams.
Yeah, surprising good teams, and I'm just here for any good basketball at this point. What can we learn new about this team? I'm just excited to play different teams. It felt like we played the Jazz, Kings, and now Blazers like multiple times already so far this season. So I'm just excited to see some new faces. But we have to talk about him at least once, right? Every podcast. Shea, like another
that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, I've tweeted about him multiple times, but we need to talk about how Shea Manav just made like another like decent improvement in his game somehow, some way. Like, you can look at the stats, you can look at the eye test, like everything supports it. I don't know how in what like how much you know about advanced stats. Do you know EPM or APM, like the stat?
No, it's not really.
Not really. Okay, it's APM is just like a.
Explain it to the people.
EPM is estimated plus minus, and it basically adjusts like how valuable a player is based on the lineup state they're in, right? So it's been tracked since 2002, and NBA GMs say it's the best advanced analytic that they use, right, to make trades, stuff like that. So it came out today for the season because they wait 15 or 20 games, so there's actual sample size. Today the list came out. Shea's second behind Jokic. Last year he was number 1, right, at plus 8.6, which is a big reason why he won MVP because he was at the top of that stat. This year he's at plus 10, now 10.1. And for context, plus 10 might not sound like anything ridiculous. Plus 10 would be the 3rd greatest season ever tracked in EPM. Number 1 is 2016 Steph Curry, which is plus 10.5. Number 2 is Jokic this season, plus 10.4. 3rd overall ever since 2002 is Shea 2026 plus 10.1. So right now between Shea and Jokic, we're witnessing one of the greatest MVP like battles of all time. Last year plus 8.6 plus 8.3 was top 10 already. So they've somehow went from top 10 season since 2002 to like GOAT level in this stat, right? So Shea and Jokic just you run out of words, right? Like we might be witnessing like 2 of the greatest like regular season peaks in modern NBA history, and we're not even talking about it right now. But as much as we should, I should say, right? I feel like not a lot of people are talking about just how high the level is between Shea and Jokic.
And I wonder when you get down to it and you get down to the end of the season, and let's say the
Yeah,
Thunder are still playing the way that they're playing now, and Shea is
yeah,
sitting fourth quarters. I wonder if that caveat plays into the the decision for the MVP, because I guess it becomes I guess I wonder if it becomes a situation where you say, well, this guy's team is way too good and so many
hmm
blowouts to where he didn't have to play fourth quarters. And then Jokic is out here putting up, 50-point triple doubles, and he's having to play like 35, 37, 38 minutes a night, just to go
yeah.
ahead and help his team get to the victory. I just wonder if when it comes down to it, whether SGA sitting out so many fourth quarters will come back to bite them in the butt, because people will correlate that with your team is too good. Your team is so good that you don't need to play fourth quarters.
It really depends on the narrative, and like, for Curry it helped him, right? For Steph it helped the Warriors, but I don't know. It really depends. I
Mhm.
think no matter what for Shea MVP, assuming Jokic continues this pace, he's gonna need like basically 70 wins just on a narrative standpoint. But if you look at the actual like impact, every stat is saying they're equal, like they were last year. So just at a higher level, like they're both equal, but now
Yeah,
it's like up here. So
it's so
I don't
crazy. Like
know.
we're
It's so
we're
crazy.
witnessing greatness, and
Yeah,
I don't know if people realize that. Like it's
yeah.
almost like
Like I don't want to say specific names. Like I don't want to just say Shea is better than this random all time great, right? But like I'm telling you, like there's very few players. There's Michael Jordan. There's LeBron James. There's a few others. There's a very short list of names that are very clear of what Shea and Jokic are doing right now in a regular season basis. Like it's absurd. I mean, he's shooting what? He's basically averaging 32 points per game on 52, 40, and almost 90% shooting from the line. Like 50,
yeah,
49 is a ridiculous feat at any like scoring volume. He's doing it while averaging 32 in 33, 34 minutes. Like it's
it's crazy. Like, and it's like I wonder if people if I wonder if people will start to study like the Thunder's third quarters, because his ability, like Shea's ability
yeah.
to score like 15 to 18 points in a short amount of time,
Yeah.
to take 10-point leads and balloon them up to like 23, 24, so that he doesn't have to play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of stuff that I think, somebody like a Zach Lowe, somebody like a Bill Simmons, like if they were to say, hey, look at this, I think a lot of other, NBA fans, people with the
Yeah.
optics, people with the eyes of the league will start to look at that and be like, holy crap, like he's right. Like whenever this guy gets into a third quarter and his team is up by 10, he'll go and score 18 points and put his team up by 23 by the time they go to the fourth quarter, and he doesn't have to play anymore. Like that's valuable. Like that's
Yeah.
completely valuable, and that's what makes a most valuable player. But it's something to where like we haven't seen this ever. Like we have
Yeah.
not seen the ability of not just a player but a team to dominate so much that you know you sit them out fourth quarters, because that in the end it's the championship that you want. And so you're going to
Yeah.
go ahead and rest them that way, instead of like holding them out entire games like they do in the NBA nowadays. And so,
Yeah.
availability is one of the best abilities. And so him being available for every game, because he rests so much during games, is pretty valuable to me.
Yeah. And talking about your third quarter point, like the Thunder, all obviously, like most of the time, they're up at halftime, but they're not up by a crazy amount. I don't have like a memory. I don't feel like they've been up by like 20 points at halftime that often. It's usually like within 10 or 15, maybe even sometimes smaller. And then the third quarter, Shea and the Thunder just win by like 10, 12 points. That's
Mhm.
why he's not playing the fourth, right? Like exactly like you said, because he's just making sure he plays the entire third quarter every single game, all 12 minutes. And I mean, that's just where they win the game. First half is cool, but third quarter is really where Shea and the Thunder make their bread and butter.
Yeah. Any more on this game? Like we can kind of like wax poetic for probably an hour on this game, because that's how impressive and how good of a game it was. How much of a
Yeah.
of a good watch it was as a Thunder fan watching this game. But any other thing that kind of stuck out to you in this game?
Um Don't think so. Chet had a rough game, obviously, but it was just mainly just some
Mm.
missed frees. I mean, you just gotta toss that up. It's whatever, it happens.
I
But
mean, he had a rough game offensively, but I think defensively he did a great
defensively,
job.
he was pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
defensively was pretty good. He started to get even better. I think to start the season he was a bit slow defensively,
Mhm.
especially against Indiana. That's where he really struggled. But he's getting back. And hey, with the Wembanyama injury, he might be. I think he is the DPY front runner right now. I don't know
He
if the
is. He
odds
is.
changed.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure. If Dylan was on here, he could have pulled up
he
FanDuel real
would know
quick,
that. Yeah,
and yeah, he would know that. But here's my thing. Here's a question that I want to ask you. Maybe we could just go ahead and transition into this.
yeah.
If Kaysen kind of continues the rate that he's going, and the way he's playing defense, is there any way that he can sneak past a Chet? Because I think outside of the Thunder, I don't think there's anybody individually outside of Wemby. If Wemby comes back with enough games or anything like that, but outside of
Yeah.
Wemby, I haven't really heard or seen of too many other, like Dyson Daniels, Tumani Kamara. Like it's not that they took a step down, but they're just not as
Yeah.
good or as loud as Thunder defenders such as Kaysen, such as Chet. And honestly, I think Chet has had a kind of a down season, as much as you want to say, as weird as it sounds, but a down season defensively.
Yeah.
He's picked it
No,
up
I agree.
offensively, but he hasn't played as well
Yeah.
defensively, which I think it's just it may be his role is different because they're not playing
Yeah.
just Chet at the 5, so he's playing more
Yeah.
perimeter based, and so that kind of mutes his stats. But so what my question is, do you think there's a possibility that Kaysen just shows out so much as a perimeter defender this year, leads the league in steals, consistently defends, the best offensive player on the opposite team, and it's loud because the Thunder have the best defense, maybe even historically? Do you think that there's a chance that Kaysen starts to get considered for defensive player of the year?
That's I feel like he should or get close to it, but there's multiple things going against him. One's obviously like guards just don't win DPY often. It's just never.
Mhm.
If Marcus Smart won it, right? But that was really, I think, the only
And then
time
before him,
I
it was
can
Tony
remember.
Allen, right?
Tony Allen, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So really, only one time in the last decade, right, was Marcus Smart. So
Kawhi
I
did
don't.
Kawhi ever win it?
Kawhi won, but
Yeah.
he's more of a wing. So I guess so.
I got you.
Kawhi and Marcus are the only non-bigs to win of recent memory, but I think that's against him. Also, the thing is that I think like the average like non-Thunder fan would probably just say top defenders on the team are Lou Dort and then Chet
Mhm.
already, especially Dort, right? Like if you're gonna give a guard, most people would probably say Dort because he's guarding the toughest guy most of the time. So I think he kind of loses the edge there. He's kind of arguing against his own team, right? He's gonna split votes
Yeah.
with his team. I don't really think he's gonna get the narrative. I think for Chet, the pathway is just the easiest. I agree with you. He hasn't been as good defensively as he's been in the past. That doesn't mean he's
Little bit
been
of a
bad.
down year.
Did a little bit of down here, and I think it's definitely because he's playing the 5. I mean, in the 4 more.
Mhm.
At the 5, he completely just like suffocates space in the pick and roll, and obviously gets a little more blocks and stuff. But I will say the numbers, like the pure numbers and analytics, like they're saying Chet's been insanely elite defensively for the most
Yeah.
part. Like with him on the floor, I think the Thunder have like 100 defensive rating, which is absurdly good. I think top 3 in the league, and defenders are shooting 10% worse when they're shooting against him and at the rim. So
Mm.
his stats,
Yeah.
he has the stats. He has obviously he's anchoring maybe the greatest defense ever, maybe the greatest modern defense ever. I'm not gonna go in the past right
Yeah,
now, but
yeah.
he's anchoring the greatest modern defense ever. He's the big. He still gets a decent amount of blocks, even though I think that should go a little more up going forward. I just think Chad's the cleanest pathway, but I agree. I think Kaysen will definitely make first team all defense 100%. At this
Mhm.
pace, I'd be extremely mad if he doesn't get a nod this year because again, like you said, he completely shut out Luka, Steph, and Ja 3 games in a row when Dort was out, and
Yeah.
obviously like just the overall steals and deflections remain every single game. But to answer your question, I just think everything's against them to get a DPOY nod. But I think he'll get some quick little buzz, kind of like Dort did last year. A few mentions here and there, but probably not enough to win DPOY in totality.
Yeah, Dylan on the chat, he went ahead and put down the odds.
Whoa.
So Chet is the favorite at plus 135. Wemby, I think, is second at plus 350. But then, the question that I asked was about Kaysen. Kaysen is at plus 50,000, and that actually happens to be behind Shea, iHeart, Dort, and Chet as far as Thunder
behind
players
Shea?
on that list. Yeah, behind Shea
and iHeart. Oh my god, bro! You're disrespecting him too much.
Hey. So if you want to make some money, go ahead and put $10 down on Kaysen. I'm just saying, like, you never know how that buzz might start to go up as the season progresses. And
you never know.
if my math serves me right, plus 50,000 would be like $500 on a $10 bet, something like that.
I don't know exactly, but something
Dylan
like
would
that.
know.
Yeah. Dylan got us in a few minutes.
Degenerates would know, and that would be Dylan.
Okay.
So.
The crazy thing is, if Dub was playing, he would be behind Dub. He would be behind Dub too. He would be like 6 in the pecking order. So I don't think he stands a chance. Sadly, I don't think he stands a chance. But I agree with you. The DPY race is really weak this year if Wemby's out. Like there's really no other main competitors.
It is because the winner last year, Mobley.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers, I don't think, are doing as well defensively as they did last season.
He's not been good either. Yeah.
He hasn't been good either. Yeah. And so you start to look around the league, and it's just like, maybe Bam. I don't know. Maybe Bam. Maybe that's about the only name that kind of pops up.
I don't even know. I'm trying to look right now.
But I mean, as far as anything, like when you talk about defense, it's literally just the Thunder players, and those are the ones that dominate on those lists. It's just like you have the names that you've had before. You have the Kamani, the Tumani Kamaras, the Dyson Daniels, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure it's the Thunder players that are dominating. So speaking on Dub on Jalen Williams. When do you think he's coming back, man? Like we've seen him warm up, and he seems like he's warming up before games, like his normal warm up. He's shooting with the right hand. It looks pure. It looks painless. So when do you think Dub will make his debut? Because it should be soon.
Yeah, I really thought it was gonna be like one of these games. Like I thought they were probably gonna get him back like against one of these weaker teams, either Sacramento or Utah. Now I really don't know. Because like if they play him Sunday, I mean they can play him Sunday, obviously, and that's obviously great. But Portland's a really like tough team to really start because like they try to pressure you a lot. It would be like a weird game for J-Dub to really, get back acclimated. Same with Minnesota, right? I don't know. I think at this point, I think my prediction is they're gonna wait after the NBA Cup because there's like a big 1 week like break or whatever there is between the NBA Cup, right? Where some random games happen.
Well, there's not a break per se.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have 2 games in there. Like if you don't make the cup, you're gonna have 2 games in there regardless. And if you make the cup, you're gonna have those 2 games in there, maybe. Plus 1 maybe. But that week, I believe the last games for the cup are going to be played on the 28th of November. And so after that day, they'll know exactly who made, the tournament itself, the NBA Cup tournament, and where those teams are going to play. But yeah, I mean, if at this point, like you said, like I thought he would be back against one of these, worser teams to kind of give him a ramp up, maybe like a preseason type game.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're gonna put them in there, you got to put them in there now, like regardless. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Like you can probably ease them in because the team is literally 16-1 without him. So it's just like, hey, I believe it's gonna be Sunday, because they have a good. Honestly, it may be, we have a good like homestand coming up, like from the 22nd. So from tomorrow. They're at home until the 28th, and then they probably travel on the 29th back to Portland. So I think if it's not going to be on Sunday, then it's definitely going to be against the Wolves because that gives them 2 days of practice, the 24th and the 25th. So, if you're going to go ahead and get him in there and get some practice run in there for him, that'd probably be the best day to it. But I'm thinking it's going to be Sunday against Portland. So that gives them at least a couple practices with the team after that game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Sunday.
Sunday. I'll go Wednesday then. I'll go Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Cup game
What about
against
Kenrich,
Minnesota.
though?
I
What
know,
about
man.
Kenrich,
So
though?
Kenrich,
Yeah.
his injury report was 6 to 8 weeks. And so that happened on the 29th of September, which was media day. I don't know if it specifically happened that day or if it's the next day that they did the surgery. But if you look at that timeline, this coming up week, so the 24th and the 25th would be the 8-week period. I have seen him there have been practice videos of him at practice shooting after practice.
Yeah.
Don't know, what that looks like, but again, 16-1. You can take your time because the thing is you are going to need Kenrich for some matchups. Like the Minnesota matchup is definitely one where Kenrich really helps us out, especially when they run out those Nas and Gobert and Randall lineups, and you just put them out there as a small big man to be able to contend with those guys and shoot threes and and switch on the perimeter. But yeah, man, I mean, at this point, like Kenrich is one of those players that he's a young old man. He's 30 years old, I think, but his knees, he's had surgery on him the past 3 off seasons, I think. And so, just let him take the time that he needs because, we need you, but we don't need you currently. We don't need you in the regular season. Just take your time, man.
Also, I'm not to talk about injuries for too much, but Wiggins been like 2 weeks almost with the injury.
Yeah.
Right.
So the adductor, that's a muscle that's like it curves like inside your hip and to your thigh. And so like it's one of those things where like, it could be it's one of those things where like whenever you get up and it feels like a sciatica type thing, that's probably what you're feeling when it's your adductor. So, it's probably one of those things where like, hey, are you feeling pain? No, okay, let's wait like another couple of days to make sure you're completely pain free. Let's put you through some practices and and bring you up that way. But again, 16-1, man. Like, take your time. We need you in April, May, and June. We don't need you in November and December. So to all our players, take your time.
And not to say the Thunder are hoping that some players are injured, but like early in the year, it's not really a horrible thing because like you want to test lineups with certain players, right? Like I'm sure Mark is having a lot of fun with the J. Will Carlson minutes. I don't know if we are completely, but he's definitely having a lot of fun running those type of lineups. And obviously, you get more leeway to guys like AJ. Joe gets some more on-ball reps. Like it serves at least some purpose,
And it's one of those things where like at the trade deadline, the Thunder always want to squeeze as much assets out of things that they can get out of. So, for instance, Ousmane Dieng, he's probably not going to be on this team past the season. So they're probably going to try to squeeze at least a second, maybe a fake second out of, any trade. But what that does is that opens up a roster spot to where if you want to bring Carlson up, you can bring him up and you can have him on the playoff roster because two-way players cannot, are not on playoff rosters. And so if you like that lineup with J. Will, with BC out there, maybe that's something that whenever Ousmane gets traded, if he gets traded, then we bring up Brandon Carlson and, you have your 4 big man lineup basically for the playoffs, moving forward. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like you said, you start to see Mark do these things where like, okay, he's taking notes, he's stashing it in the memory bank. Let's see what happens later in the year. What sucks about this whole thing with all these blowouts, with all this time at the end of like games that are like garbage minutes is not having Topic to develop. To me, that's what I feel so bad for that because we have so much time for him to
and Sorber. And
Sorber, yeah, and
Oh,
Sorber,
bro, I
but
forget about him so many times.
yeah. But I mean, it's really like the one I feel really bad for is Topic, because number one, not only did he miss an entire year already, but number two, he came into this year and it was just like, man, where are we going to find time? And there's plenty of time out there now for him to be out there and developing, and those minutes at the end of blowouts where AJ has to play point guard out there. Those are the minutes that were for Topic. Those were the minutes that Topic could have taken advantage of. And it's just like it just freaking sucks that what he's going through has kind of kept him from developing as a player. But I mean, he put out that Instagram post where he says he's going to come back stronger than ever. And usually a player's not going to necessarily put that out there unless he's receiving like good news. I don't think so hopefully that just means that they were able to take care of whatever they needed to take care of. Maybe maybe he has to do a little bit of chemo now. But after that, hopefully he'll be good and he'll be ready to go. So prayers up for him always. And hopefully that he gets past this little bit of time and is able to make it onto the team hopefully this season.
Yeah, prayers for Topic. Especially, it would be so nice if we can see him like end the year, because especially end of the season, there's gonna be a lot of reps. It would be so nice if you can have some nice little leeway just to get acclimated to the NBA finally.
Yeah, it would. So okay, so looking at our group, so again, we're Group A in the West. So we have Minnesota, Phoenix, Utah, and Sacramento. Of course, we've already beat Sacramento. We beat Phoenix, 30 plus for each. So we have a plus 60 something on the point differential, which counts in the cup standings, especially if you're tied with a team. So we have Minnesota, we have Phoenix coming up. Minnesota just lost. I believe they are 2-1. Am I
2-1?
Yeah, they're 2-1. And then Phoenix is 2-0 with their victory over Minnesota. So, I mean, two difficult teams. I'm not going to say that they're going to be easy, but the Thunder are going to be playing at home. So hopefully, it's a situation where you take care of business at home and you shouldn't have to worry about any point differential or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's nice to have in your back pocket just in case, you lose either one. You should be in a good spot unless you lose by too much in one of those games. I feel like I mean, I don't know the wild card scenarios or anything like that, but I feel like 3-1 with a pretty good point differential, no matter what, should get them in. But hopefully you don't have to worry about that. You just sweep these next two games. They're good teams, but end of the day, we're Oklahoma City Thunder, so
yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, I mean, we can go down by 18 in the first quarter and then end up winning by 34. Exactly. Like who cares?
Yeah, like come on. It's fine. We just win those games, man.
So, future state, looking in the future, looking at the NBA.
Oh
man, the Clippers, man, they just keep on losing.
Bro, it is. Oh god, I'm a James Harden fan. I'm rooting against the Clippers, obviously, but I'm a James Harden fan. It is so heartbreaking to watch right now, man. Like Harden,
and he's doing great, and Harden is doing great.
He's doing so good. He's doing so good.
Like
man.
what was it? A couple of days ago, he had like 24 points in the first half, and they were down by 12 against Philly.
Exactly that. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's just he's having his best year since like 2021, 2022, maybe even like before that. Like he's shooting 40% from free, extremely efficient, 26 points per game. But everything around him just has regressed or gotten injured. It's just it's a total mess.
It is, man. It is. That team is old. That team can't, teams that are playing them know, hey, if we get out and run, it may be over by by halftime. Yeah, man, it's crazy. And again, we own their pick this year and next year. It's a pick swap.
Next year.
It's a pick swap next year. But yeah, we own their pick this year. And again, my dream scenario has always been you win the championship and then you get the number one pick in that next draft, in that upcoming draft. And so that could be in play, man. And that is
could be in play.
But even if it isn't in play, like if you mess around and you win another championship and you get like the number 10 pick, like you talk about stacking assets, and you talk about stacking players that are just completely talented. Number one, I trust the Thunder scouting department with my life, especially if you have like a top 10 pick. I trust them with my life, number one. And then number two, just having that ability to replace an end of the bench player with like a top 10 pick is just crazy to me.
Yeah. And like you just said, I mean, for like obviously if they get the top 2 or 3 pick, like holy shit, like that's crazy, right? But it's very rare to see any like championship teams actually adding young talent, let alone like a lottery pick, right? That's very hard to see. So the fact that Thunder have a chance to do that, not even just once, twice, plus Topic and Silver coming in is insane. But just looking at Tank Fund right now, I'm just thinking like where do you think the Clippers like pre-lottery standings could land? Because I'm not gonna lie, I think it honestly just stays between that 7 to 14 range because the teams are really bad right now. The teams are the bottom of the league is super bad right now. You got Washington, New Orleans, Indiana, Sacramento, Brooklyn, Charlotte, and then you got the Clippers at 7. I don't know. I feel like top unless they jump up a lot, I don't know if top 3 is gonna be really that possible, but
hold on, I'm sorry.
Especially with Charlotte potentially trading LaMelo. If you saw the report, I don't know how true that report is, but if that happens, that's gonna make it impossible for them to pass up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I think the see, here's the thing, and it kind of sucks that there's so many bad teams in the league now.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
A rough start like this for the Clippers in any other year is probably
It's top
definitely
4
gonna exactly. It's gonna keep you in that top 5, top 6 range easily.
Yeah.
But with so many like 1, 2, 3 win teams out there,
like it's insane.
And it's not even like, we used to be able to just blame the East. No, there's a lot of teams in the West that are just like shit, all of a sudden.
Sacramento lost a bonus for a month too now. It's gonna be really bad for
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Sacramento, New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Utah's doing good. Utah is their edict at the beginning of the season was like we're gonna win games. And I think they're doing it. They're doing a good job of doing that. Now, we own Utah's pick. It's top 8 protected. I don't think they will allow that pick to convey to us at all. I think by the middle of the season, they'll do the whole marketing thing where, he's suffering from a busted eyelash. He has to sit out for a little bit, But yeah, I mean, that pick's in play. Philly is starting to come back down to earth after the hot start that they had. So it's crazy the scenarios that could play out. We got a ton of season left.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says that the Clippers can't get better. There's nothing that says that the Jazz can't get worse. There's nothing that says that Philly, can't keep playing in the middle. But man, the scenarios that could play out are just wild.
And for the Jazz pick, I honestly just wrote it off at the beginning of the season. I was like, okay, the Jazz are going to be like a bottom 3-4 team, and that's whatever. But the Western Conference this year is just like not like it's the top is pretty good with OKC,
top heavy,
Denver, Houston, LA, whatever you want to say, right? As the top 3 or 4. But the bottom has gotten so much worse. I think like right now, Utah is the 10th seed. Like who's to say that Utah doesn't go for the 10th seed if Danny Ainge really wants like a playing appearance to start building off something, because the 10 seed's up for grabs right now. There's no teams really after 9 playing good right now. So I don't know. I'm still like probably saying, okay, we're not gonna get to the Jazz pick, but it's not impossible. Like this is probably the best possible scenario where it can happen. And again, even if they finish like let's say 6 or 7 in the pre-draft lottery, right? If a few teams jump behind them, they can go to 9 or 10, right? That's happened before. So, as long as they can keep in that 6 to 9 range, 6-10 range, like you're fine. You have a chance of getting that pick.
And I mean, and the fact that you have a chance is just crazy.
Exactly.
It's just crazy to me, exactly. And like we've seen crazy things happen in the draft lottery before. So if you have any of those, if any of the teams below Utah jump them, then they automatically drop down a spot. and they, if it's two teams that jump, it's two, they drop down 2 spots. And so, like you said, as long as you keep them in that 6 to 7 range, the possibilities at play heavily.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna act here and say the Thunder are a completely unlucky team, especially right now. But draft lottery wise, they've had like 2 big picks they wanted to convey. Obviously, Houston 2021, if you remember, where they had a 50% chance of getting the number 5 pick and just completely lose it. And then last year with Philadelphia, they had I think 40%, 35, 40% of getting like the 7th or 8th pick from Philadelphia last year. They lost both
that's
times.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. So they've lost both times so far in terms of draft lottery luck, right? From other teams. So maybe we're due for one finally, Maybe the Jazz drops down,
The one that we did get was, whenever the Clippers got bounced in the play-in, in the play-in tournament, and we ended up getting the 11th pick, but or was it no, we ended up getting the 12th pick.
Yeah.
And then we did the whole trade thing just to kind of I guess Ousmane Dieng, to me, he was like a fullback. Like he was just there to kind of block anybody from getting Jalen Williams. And the pick we really wanted was Jalen Williams. So, but man, that was a great night whenever that happened. Whenever the Clippers lost, and you knew that you were getting an extra lottery pick from that. Man, so we have a couple cup games coming up. So this upcoming week we have Portland on Sunday, and then we have Minnesota on Wednesday. So we are going to probably podcast on Tuesday, but travel schedules, Thanksgiving coming up, you never know if that may happen. So let's go ahead and look at Portland and the Minnesota game kind of together as far as preview for upcoming games. So number one, Portland, revenge game. Do you think we're going to come out with revenge on our minds when it comes to this game?
I don't know about revenge on our minds. I don't think Shea's going to be like, we have to win this game. It's do or die. But like, they're going to win. They're going to win. I know that for sure. I know. I don't know if any of the players are fit, but I think Mark's still going to be, Mark's got to get his look back against Thiago Splitter, right? Is there a coach?
Yeah, that's the
I was about to say Chauncey Billups. I was about to say Chauncey Billups. I was like, that thing happened.
That ain't it.
We haven't heard anything about that since, right? He just got fired because of the gambling thing. Nothing.
Well, he's on administrative leave type thing.
Okay.
Like until everything plays out, they can't really do too much. But he's essentially what is it? Suspended without pay at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
But when it comes to that Portland game, you just have to kind of wonder what the mindset is going to be for Portland, because Portland, they completely they won against us. That was possibly their Super Bowl for the season, because they have not been good ever since then. Like they're currently 6-8, I think. And whenever they played us, I believe they had a pretty good record. So they've won. They've lost a lot of games since they won against us. So I wonder if, I wonder if something happened in that. I wonder if they just came out and that was their playoff game. That was their Super Bowl. But yeah, man, I think they're going to come out. I think the Thunder are going to come out. They're going to remember that. They're not, if the Thunder come out to a 22-point lead this time, they're not going to surrender.
They're not. Drew Holiday is also out, by the way. He's out for a week, so that's gonna be huge for them. That's probably their second best player behind Denny. So that's gonna be a big thing for them. But yeah, I mean, I think Mark's gonna be ready. I mean, I think Portland's probably gonna just try to replicate the same game plan, because if it works once against the best team, you probably want to stay similar to principles. And I just think OKC is gonna be completely ready this time. And I'm not trying to diminish what Portland did against us, but I think a lot of that was because of fatigue. Like Shea was completely out of it that game. So were some other players. Like I think a fully rested Thunder at home, I don't see them losing this time around.
But remember, we were down. Chet was out that game. Lou was out that game. I think Kaysen was out that game.
Yeah.
So that was So I mean, part of that is our we were having to play Barnhizer and Ousmane Dieng and
And we almost won still. We almost won still.
almost won. Yeah. So
we were like 2 inches away from going to overtime. 2 inches away from going to overtime. I mean, hopefully, if Joe
that's what she
misses.
said. Yep, that's what she said.
Okay.
No, but yeah, like there were a lot of variables at play that probably won't be at play this time around.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
The only thing in that game that I think maybe can be replicated is like Denny, as far as how he played, and and us not having Dub out there, because Dub would have been the perfect defender against Advia.
Exactly.
But again, if you give Mark some tape to look at, and you give that coaching staff some tape to look at, they'll find a way to kind of.
You have Dort this time too, so you can at least
exactly.
you just stick Dort on him, right?
So are we saying W in that game?
W.
Okay. Yeah. So moving on to the Cup game on Wednesday. So number one, they get a couple days rest, which has been few and far between, to start the season. So they get a couple days rest, and then they play Minnesota on Wednesday. Now, I don't know if so of course the court is going to have the NBA Cup court. But I kind of want to go back real quick to the Sacramento game. Where they had their city edition court out there. How did you enjoy that one?
I love the jerseys. The jerseys were awesome. But the court, I didn't like the two different colors. And that was like the two different tones. One was dark, one was light. I personally thought it was a little distracting. I didn't love it. Yeah, I didn't love the court actually. But the jerseys were top 5 favorite Thunder jerseys of all time already. Like those, I think I already ordered a Shea one. So I love those jerseys.
Those are awesome jerseys. Like I wore today I wore at my job. So we were celebrating Native American Week this week, and so I wore the teal colored ones that came out.
Yeah.
I think it was Westbrook's last year, because I know him and Adams had a jersey like that. So I think it was Westbrook's last year here.
Yeah.
And so those jerseys are beautiful. And so these jerseys are basically those jerseys, but in dark blue. And so I thought those jerseys look great. I'm definitely going to get me one of those jerseys. I don't know who I'm going to get. I think I'm going to go a different type of player, and I'm not just sticking to the big three. So I'm trying to decide, maybe AJ Mitchell, maybe a Caruso jersey, Hartenstein. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely getting one of those. And I enjoyed the court. I thought the court looked nice, man. And I thought, and I get what you're saying, because I know, like, I think Oregon does that, where like they do like that shade on the baselines, and then they do like the interior of the court is a different color. Like the Oregon Ducks do some crazy things with their stuff. And so it kind of reminded me of that, but I thought that it wasn't as busy as like those Oregon Duck courts can be. And I thought it was just busy enough to be different and to look good, but still maintains, a clean look, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I might have to see it like a few more times. The one thing I don't like about the Thunder is that we don't wear our city jerseys in courts that often compared to other teams. You only see them like, I think, 4 times a year or something extremely low like that. But maybe a court will grow on me finally. I'm excited to see the NBA Cup court. Obviously, you haven't seen that one yet.
I am too.
What jerseys are we wearing for a NBA Cup? Is it?
Man, that would be something maybe OKC Tracker would put out there.
Let me see if it's online.
I have no idea, because I think it's too recent to wear the city edition jerseys again.
Yeah,
I know they've maybe the orange ones. I don't know. The sunset
maybe the
jerseys.
orange. We don't wear the orange much. Yeah,
maybe the sunset jerseys. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see the court. I'm excited to see that big old cup in the middle. I think that they should jazz up the courts a little bit when it comes to like the NBA finals. That's one thing. Like whenever I
they're
saw
doing it this year.
Oh, they're doing it this year?
Yeah, they're doing the entire Larry O'Brien this year, apparently.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
finally, yeah.
Wow. So our words were heard, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see us play on that court finally this year, bro.
Finally. Yeah. That'd be nice. That would be very nice. But yeah, man, I thought the court looked nice. And so I hope, I'm very excited to see what the NBA Cup court looks for the Thunder. And then kind of see what jerseys we wear. I doubt we'll wear the City Edition jerseys, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if we do either.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cup games against Minnesota, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Minnesota, yep, and then Phoenix. So Minnesota game. What do you think? I think we handled them pretty good.
I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to push back here, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, end of the day, Minnesota's the one here coming for revenge, right? Like, if you think about it, this is Minnesota Super Bowl. We ended their season. We kind of embarrassed them, right? And I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is a game where Chris Finch and them are just gonna overly game plan. They're gonna go all in. Send those aggressive coverages. Orange jerseys for the Wolves game, apparently, according to Thunder chats. According to Dylan, my bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a game where Minnesota goes all out schematically. So, I don't know. I don't know if they win, but I think this might be like the one game I'm expecting it to be extremely close. I'm pretty confident it'll be close. And Minnesota does play us pretty well in the regular season. Obviously, the playoffs were a different story.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, that's a different story. But regular season, we've had some fun battles the last 2-3 years. Honestly, I feel like we're exactly equal in the regular season. There's always extremely good matchups between us. So,
but I feel like this is a regular season game masquerading as a playoff game. So if the Thunder feel like it's a playoff game, maybe they come out.
If Dub comes back, if Dub's playing, it's a blowout. Just because we're gonna be amped up for Dub to play, If this is Dub's game, we're gonna blow them out. But otherwise, I could see a little action here, potential for a good game here.
I'm going 2-0. Kind of sounds like you're going 1-1, 1.5 and 1.5.
Let's say 2-0. 2-0.
2-0. Okay, nice. 2-0. All right.
2-0.
So now, I'm usually, again, I'm the optimistic pessimist. I'm usually the one that at least tacks on a loss here or there. But, since I'm feeling very optimistic, that probably means that we're going to lose both games. That's probably what that means. Is that,
all right, come on. Too far. That's too far.
The moment Alex goes optimistic is the moment they lose a game or two. But yeah, that's all. I think that's all we kind of got in Thunderland.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball. Does anybody want him?
Bro, apparently the Clippers want it. I mean, apparently LaMelo wants to go to the Clippers.
Word.
Like,
well, yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's up. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it him or his dad?
His dad probably, but hey, who knows? I don't know.
He's such a weird player, man, because number one, he has to find some way to stay healthy. That's number one.
Yeah.
But number two, it's just kind of like, listen, when he's on offensively, he could be a difference maker, but his inability to consistently play defense and consistently play winning basketball, honestly, is what keeps him from actually being a part of a winning culture and a winning team.
Yeah, I mean, the way I read the article, right, that Kelly Eco, I'm probably mispronouncing his
Kelly
name.
Eco, yeah,
when he put the article out, it kind of felt like the Hornets were the one who wanted him out more than LaMelo. I didn't really feel like it didn't really read like LaMelo was like, I want out of Charlotte, and that's why he also reacted with the quote tweet with the clown emoji or whatever. So, hey, maybe Charlotte just wants to move on. Colin Knuppel is insanely good right now. He's like rookie of the year, front runner right now. So maybe just want to move on, build around him and Brandon Miller, I guess, Ron Kalkbrenner, whatever they have over there.
Yeah,
but I don't know if his value is going to be good. I don't know if LaMelo is going to have much value at this point.
No, I don't think so. As far as hoping that he's a player that nets you at least 1 or 2 good first round picks.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. You might as well go ahead and try to get you maybe some, if you're going to trade him, maybe trade him for some vets that have been around the block a little bit and that know how to win and it can be locker room presences in that locker room. But man, that's a tough thing because I think, do you know how many years he has left on his contract? Because he's not coming up for, I think he has 2 or 3,
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
at like 40 plus. Like I think he's making 38 this year, and he's probably bumping up to about 40 or 40 something next year.
I do think that's a kind of risk that the Clippers have to take. Maybe this offseason, once Harden's probably gonna go or something's gonna happen with Harden. I mean, they have no picks, they have nothing. They just take a swing on a young guy, right? That has star potential or can't play like a star at times. So maybe he's a buy low guy for the Clippers. Maybe Ja, someone like him.
I wonder if I almost wonder if like a Ja for
LaMelo
swap may work out for either of those teams.
Hey, they're also saying like some Hawks fans don't want Trae Young because the Hawks are playing so good without him. So there's like 3 different guards, like they're floating around. No one in the league really wants, but like they're all clearly talented. It's kind of weird,
So Thunder Chats in the chat has a question. So who had more trade value, LaMelo now or Giddey when we traded him?
That's tough.
I honestly think it's Giddey at least because at least there was a semblance of watching him in a winning culture. Like even though we weren't necessarily like winning like we are now, but we were on that trajectory up, and we at least saw him out there, and when we saw him take his bumps and bruises, like I think a guy like LaMelo, Charlotte has rolled out the red carpet and just said, hey, whenever you're healthy, you have the green light, you shoot whenever you want. At least with Giddey, you were able to see him in a system, and you were able to see him play like not necessarily as a star player, but more of a accommodating piece out there. And he was able to be successful in that from time to time. So I think Giddey probably has a little bit more trade value if you look at just it from a basketball perspective. But if you want to trade him to a team that has maybe like a superstar mentality, then definitely LaMelo probably has a little bit more of a pull on that.
It's tough. I mean, I really think it's a team by team, but like, thing for Giddey was his contract was cheaper. He was actually very healthy the hip injury as a rookie. He's been very healthy in his career, so I'll probably lean Giddey for the average team. But like, I think there's still probably a team that we're thinking of right now. There's probably like one team in the league or one like GM, right? There's one GM out there somewhere who's like, I really think LaMelo Ball can be that superstar who can flip our franchise around. Yeah. All it takes is one, right? All it takes is one. Maybe you loved him as a draft prospect or something like that. It really just takes one. So I think LaMelo has more upside to be traded for more, but I think the average team would probably value Giddey more at the time. But that's a good question, honestly. Yeah, that's a good question.
And here's the thing kind of related to all of that, because the names that we're seeing pop up as far as like, this guy, it has trade value. This guy, the team wants to trade this guy are like distressed point guards. And friend of the show, Nerd Sesh, the guy, one of the guys from Nerd Sesh, he put out.
I watched that video today.
He put out a tweet. I don't know. I didn't see the video, but I saw the tweet where he was talking about like the point guard position. Is that a position that's starting to kind of go by the wayside? Because guys like LaMelo, guys like Trae, guys like Ja, like those traditional point guard that you say is a point guard, like they're losing their value. Like nobody wants to trade for those type of players. You have a team in the Thunder. Like this is the tweet that I put out to Carson. It was basically like you have the Thunder. The Thunder don't have a traditional point guard. Yeah. They have a bunch of players out there. They have an offensive engine in Shea, yes, but they have a bunch of players out there that make quick decisions, that process things very quickly. And so they're able to run an offense because they have 5 decision makers out there that know what they're doing, that can shoot, pass, dribble. And so that in and of itself is like you have 5 traditional point guards out there, even though they're not positionally point guards. And so a lot of teams are starting to position themselves that way. They're starting to draft players like Con Knipple, who Con Knipple's not a point guard, but he can make quick decisions with the ball. He knows where to go with the ball. And you're starting to see the skill level of every NBA player go up. So it's not just the point guards that are able to lead an offense. Now you have the offensive engines, you have the Jokic's, you have Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not a traditional point guard. Steph Curry is a shooting guard in a point guard's body, and a point guard position, but he's a shooting guard. So I don't know. I think, like the NFL running back, I think, or like the big man, the NBA, like the NBA big man from a couple years ago, where it seemed like they were, going out of style and becoming extinct. I think the traditional point guard might be going extinct. Like, you have to have a player that's able to score. You have to have a player that's able to dribble, pass, shoot, make decisions real quick. And so if all your other players are doing that, you don't necessarily need a point guard. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's especially small guards, right? That's just specific thing. LaMelo's bigger, but he kind of plays smaller, if that makes sense. He plays like under the rim, and obviously doesn't defend. He's a pretty frail body also. So like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see how much teams start to correct on the point guards. I talked about how combo guards are also starting to die, right? Like that scoring guard, like the Jordan Poole, the Cam Thomas, Jalen Green, like all those type of players were just traded for nothing, or like in this offseason, right? Same with Norman Powell and Bradley Beal. Like, no team are really valuing these guys anymore. So I don't know. Like, I feel like we're shifting to a much more like defensive, slanted era of basketball. Hey, maybe props to OKC and potentially Boston for starting this trend, right?
Trendsetters, maybe.
Trendsetters, yeah. I'm, by the way, off topic, but I'm really hoping to see OKC and Boston play someday, because I was really excited to see, like, last year, right? I thought it was just gonna be OKC, Boston in the finals. Like, those teams, every time they play such high level basketball. Like, you can tell they're on a different level, like in terms of core processing and skill on the floor when they're both healthy. So that was off topic, but OKC and Boston started a trend in terms of more positional versatility, more defensive slanted players, and I mean, we've seen where it's taken them, the championships the last 2 years. So
I mean, we saw it at a lesser degree with Indiana last year, and they made it all the way to the finals and took us to 7 games.
Yeah. I mean, Indiana, like the amount of like players you could just like put the ball on the floor, shoot, defend, were insane. It's the entire roster was filled with those type of guys. Outside of TJ McConnell, I guess. TJ McConnell's like the one traditional, like, more of a point guard type of guy, but he's coming off the bench for more for like 10 to 15 minutes anyways. So it didn't really matter.
But yeah, man, that's I think we pumped out a lot of content.
We talked about a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, one more thing. If you look on our Twitter feed, they restocked us with some more tickets for the fan event on March 15th. I believe it's March 15th. But yeah, they stocked us. We had originally had 100 tickets. We sold out. We had a deadline, and we sold out by that deadline. So they gave us 50 more tickets. So, man, if you are not getting in on this, you need to. You need to get in on this, because once we're done with these, with these 50 tickets, we're probably not going to get restocked, and that's the give and take of being a fan of a team that is a championship contending team. Is the availability of tickets is not as much as it used to be whenever we were on the rebuild. And so if you do want to come out, again, it's a fun time. It's against Minnesota. It's a 12 o'clock matinee game. So, you go to the game, you're done by 2:30. You're able to enjoy the rest of the day. At the end of the game, we head down to the court. We take a picture, on the court. So you're able to touch the court that your favorite players play on. And then you get to shoot a shot for an opportunity, hopefully, to win a team signed basketball, which is basically going to be a championship team signed basketball. So, and the tickets are cheap. The tickets are not astronomical. I believe they're in the $20 to $30 range, because we're in Loud City, because those are the only seats that are available. But yeah, man, don't miss out. The link is in our Twitter. It's in the pinned tweet at the top of our feed. Make sure you're looking at that, and make sure you're getting on, because it won't be there too much longer, and those tickets will not be available for too much longer. So get yours whenever you can. It'll make a great Christmas present for maybe the Thunder, the Thunder fan in your life. So it's there, man. The opportunity to get a good present is there. So with that said, hoop when you can, thunder up, and God bless. Hoop when you can, and as always, thunder up, baby.
Thunder